Good evening, everybody. It's Thomas and the boys here with Dirty Sliders. We're getting ready to kick off another episode here. I hope you guys enjoy. One of our fellow members in the room here, John Bridger, had the opportunity to go out to old Sin City and go watch the High Limit boys with the NASCAR. And we were going to show some stuff last week, but we had a special guest. I'm sure you guys saw that. It was a great video those boys put on. But
Yes,
without
it
further
was.
ado, Mr. Bridger, how was your experience?
Oh man, it was awesome. It was a full weekend of racing for me between all the NASCAR and getting into the high limits. So Saturday was racing morning, noon, and night. And let me tell you, high limits puts on a show. It is fast paced. It's always going. There's very little lag in time when you're not watching racing. So I went ahead since I got a media pass with behind the scenes access and such. I put together the best little montage I could here. So I got about 4 or 5 minutes, but it's got some pretty cool stuff. So let me get that sharing for everybody here. And let's do, where is it? We are clearly not experts, like we say. Where is it? It's up there. Hang on. There it is. Had it. Now I can find it. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Guys ready? So we got our high limits racing logo there. Let's start it up here, maybe. There we go. So we got just a little walk down pit road. They have 38 cars in there for high limits in Vegas. So that is a lot of cars out there. I just took a little bit here in the just the pits, everybody walking around. Pretty soon here we get to rolling out cars for practice and hot laps.
Look at the little Mike.
We got sound on this video?
Where's not?
This is for Rico or for Neilden.
Yes, sir. There's my boy. There's my boy out there. Wish I could hear him, but you know.
Yeah, I wish we had some sound, bro.
If the sound comes through on the playback, we're sorry, y'all.
Yeah, I hope the sound's coming through too, because that was definitely for Neilden right there.
Oh. Did he give me a shout out? I don't get to hear it.
Well, you'll hear it when you watch again.
So for the viewer at home, we're trying out a new program because Riverside has not been
Yeah.
doing great for us. So bear with us while
Well,
we work out the
hopefully,
bugs.
yeah, hopefully this is coming through because the sound just of them pushing off those sprint cars, and so then we headed over the pit stands, and here we have Kaleb Montgomery
Let's go,
going out
son.
for hot laps.
Boy, he's killing it.
Little Brad Sweet there making his way through the turn.
I like the white car.
So yeah, so here's the difference between Ty Gibbs and Kaleb. So Ty Gibbs taking pictures, and Caleb's too busy working on the car after hot laps, making sure everything's good. I think, oh yeah, they were draining oil, and I'm gonna hope he's not tasting it and just smelling it because he was talking about if it smelled the same. But it looks like he might taste it too. You never
Ain't
know.
nothing wrong with tasting a
And
little fluid.
knowing Caleb, he was probably drinking it.
So now this is Corey Day's car. So getting him ready to go out for the qualifying. So yeah, two groups in qualifying went out, and man, they just like you say, I was surprised how quick everything ran.
And that track seems a lot bigger than Paris, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we started up with this is their second group in qualifying. Then we had the old
main event.
4 wide salute, and oh, did I miss the 4 wide? Okay, so we started the heats then. I must have missed the 4 wide in the video, but
Well,
so
forward
start
before the
off the
feature,
heats.
right?
Yeah, Kyle Larson up front there. Oh yeah, this is before the feature. So 4 heats before the feature, and of course, Kyle Larson right to the front. Oh, okay, that video wasn't as much as I thought, but anyways, it was a great weekend of racing, and like I say, it goes fast and furious. Hot laps started at 5:30 with 2 sessions of hot laps, 2 sessions of qualifying, 4 heats, the dash, a B feature, and an A main. We were out of there by 9:30.
Damn.
That
God damn,
includes
boys.
it was quick, man. That includes the red flag for Ty Gibbs flipping on the A main
By himself.
out of turn 2, going down the backstretch, flipping himself. Also, the longish red flag for when Aaron Reutzel got hit in the face through his visor with a rock or dirt clod, broke his nose. But man, you guys have probably seen the picture of his helmet in the trailer and him in the hospital. Man, that looked like it hurt. But not to spoil anything, but he's a racer. He came back. Yeah, it was fun. I would definitely go to another high limits race. I mean, like I say, it's just a great time, and I am just glad I got to be there and see it in person. That's all I got.
Hell yeah.
Anybody else?
No, it's just hopefully that playback plays the sound, because I'm interested in those interviews you had posted there, but them dudes look like they got around there pretty
I
quick.
hope so. Oh, they were moving. Yeah. I didn't get down to get they do the winner of the 4 heats and the fastest qualifier go to do a redraw. They don't really redraw, they spin a big wheel. And little Rico got out there and he spun a 33 out of 36. So he had to start the back of the dash, but he still made a good comeback. He got up there and made it very interesting. With a lot of red flags and stuff going on in the main, they did end up having to do an open red flag with, I think it was 5 or 6 laps left to refuel cars because Darren Pittman was running away with that thing, and he ran out of gas. So that gave Corey Day the lead, and the last 5 laps, Corey Day and old Kyle Larson were duking it out. Corey ended up on top. Kyle, a very close second. But, yeah, it was a good race. I loved it, every second of it.
So, what do you guys think of them? Because they made a little hype about Corey Day, the next Kyle Larson racing Kyle Larson. You think Corey Day is the next Kyle Larson?
He put his truck on the pole for Friday night's race, but didn't have that great a race Friday night. So he's pretty good, but he's not there yet.
I mean, somebody else that
that's a
we were
pretty
just
bold
talking
statement.
about in that conversation just
It
won 2 out of 3 races at Homestead, right?
Yeah, should have won 3.
Yes,
he
he
got
did.
boned on the
Should have
restart.
won 3, yes.
So that kind of answers
that was my favorite.
That's my answer for the discussion out of the 2 that you just brought
Yeah.
up.
I always love those real life interviews.
Yeah.
when Kyle Larson said Sam Mayer, slammed the shit out of him, and then the guy in the truck hit the button a little late for the delete button.
I
Nice.
can't go on the when my wheels are in the air.
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast with that includes Bubba Wallace's spotter. I'm sure everybody knows what podcast I'm talking about. And he was talking about early in Bubba's career that they were at Homestead, and Kyle Larson passed him when he was racing trucks, and he told Bubba, he says, now just follow him. After about half a lap, Bubba come on the radio and says, "Fuck off! I can't do that."
Yeah,
That's funny
that
shit.
was the one channel for the Cup race on Sunday. I'm like, I'm listening to Bubba and Freddie because they're gonna say some shit at some point. And Bubba was doing okay first stage, but he was having trouble getting around a lap or a slower car. And Freddie's like, "Oh, what do you need? What do you need? Give us the balance." Bubba comes on. He's like, "I just got to pick a fucking lane. God, I'm fine, just fine." And
Found
Freddie comes back on the radio and goes, "Well, stop messing around, and fucking pass that guy in front of you."
Yeah. So there you go. I
can,
found the picture for you, John.
You can stretch that window and make the picture bigger, Neilden.
Looks big on my side.
It's
Shut it.
I mean, it's big enough, but it's I was going to wait till we talked about the Paris race to talk about this, but he still didn't have a fucking rock screen on his car. He's a goddamn idiot.
Oh,
But what's that on the side
I
of
would
his helmet?
definitely
Now-
put one on after this happened.
Well, I mean, you can make the same argument that he makes, which is, well, I'm not racing at Vegas now. It's not all rocky. Paris has a really nice surface. There's not any rocks in it. We all know that. We've all raced it. But a rock screen would have saved him there for sure. And I've heard, if you get on, of course, the internet it's full of experts, and they're saying, "Oh, it came in through the side. It wouldn't have mattered." No, you can look at that helmet. That thing came straight from the front. It was not a small rock, and a big ass rock like that, would not have made it through the rock screen.
And that some
But I'm
bitch
gonna
was
put
coming at
some of
some
the
high velocity too.
Oh, it came in at Mach Jesus, because you got to figure at the time that happened, Reutzel is doing 100 miles an hour, and that rock was probably doing 100 miles an hour the other way.
Yep.
Because it came off somebody's back tire. It shot from underneath somebody's back tire off the track. That's how it got there.
And as Andy
I'm
Stapp
gonna
says,
put- I'm
that's
gonna
a trip to the Plus Bus.
Oh yeah. I'm going to use that from now on.
I can't think of anything else. The Plus Plus.
Well,
is
and
so-
I'll say, yeah,
I
I'll
took
say
a
from
I-
first-hand experience when I was walking up to the stands to get that footage, and I think we're walking back after the intermission, and the race had just started, the B main, and I took a rock to the chest, and it was probably a quarter of that size, and I was well outside of the track, and yeah, it hurt.
Mhm.
I wonder
Well,
what he was
I mean,
thinking when that some
I
bitch
think-
smoked him in the face.
Oh,
Probably not much of anything.
What the fuck was
we
that?
were all I think everybody except Soper, we were all at Barona when they got that weird load of dirt that had a ton of rocks in it, and they were all little rocks, but they were all knuckle busters. But Vegas has to take responsibility. That track has been known for a long time to be rocky, and guess what? There's equipment. It's called a shaker screen to get the rocks out of your dirt, but
that costs
requires
money.
you to actually. Yeah, you actually have to dig up the track surface and put it through the shaker to get the rocks out. And you're right, it costs money to rent that equipment. It costs fuel to run that equipment. It costs fuel to run the loaders that are going to have to strip up the track and put it through that shaker. So, it's probably, I'm going to say a $10,000 to $15,000 expense to get the rocks out of that track. But
here's the deal with
Jesus,
Vegas.
why not do it?
The Vegas was full of holes for the longest time, and the reasoning behind it, they don't use the track very often. They run the track 4 times a year, 5 times a year. They're not going to put a bunch of money into something they're only running 4 or 5 times a year.
Well, I mean, they just got somebody hurt.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
But, I mean,
I went to Trackside Live on Cup Day. So they actually talked to the GM of Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and this is his last year. He's actually got to be out of his office here in a week, he said. So there's somebody new coming in. So maybe, if he talks to High Limits, World Outlaws, if they want to use it, they can say, hey, split the cost. We'll do like Res says, shake all the rocks out, make it safer, do all that stuff. So, yeah, you're going to get more better high racing series if you do like Res says, make your track safer, make it better for everybody. They're going to come more than those 3 or 4 times a year.
well, the ultimate response. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, Raz.
The ultimate responsibility comes down to that nut holding onto the steering wheel. You put yourself in a race car, you're responsible for your own safety. That's the ultimate bottom line. And I think Reutzel is a fool for not having a rock screen, especially at Vegas, where everybody knows it's a rocky track. So that's kind of doubly on him. So some people were saying he ran a thin face shield. I looked that picture over. It looks like a pretty standard,
standard
face shield. It's pretty heavy duty. I mean, it's going to take a rock to get through there. But I'm going to put some of it on Las Vegas. You have a responsibility to provide a safe racing environment, and if you're chucking rocks at drivers' faces that big, it's not a safe racing environment.
Right.
Agreed.
Well, I'm looking at going to Vegas potentially at the end of the year in November for the Duel in the Desert race if it happens. Right now it's not on XR's schedule if it happens, but on the IMCA car we're required to run at least 3 intrusion bars across the front screen, and those are vertically mounted about 3 inches apart from each other. And I would be probably putting some kind of another layer over those bars going this way prior to going to that race.
Go find you a junk shopping cart somewhere and cut it out and put it in front of you across those 3 bars.
Mm-hmm.
Because those 3 bars, those 3 bars are meant to stop a tire. They're not meant to stop a rock. That's it's going to be this big. Right.
Well, the good thing is like on my GRT car that those intrusion bars are bolted to the chassis, not welded to the chassis. So I don't even have to, like, if I wanted to change it out to put something better in it for that race, it's just a matter of unbolting it, putting it in, and then when I'm done, unbolt it, put the old one back in the car.
Or just put a screen right over those anti-intrusion bars.
Either way.
So that keep sticking with the high limit theme. They went from Vegas to Tulare, and the recap is pretty simple. Kyle Larson stunk that show up.
And then flew back.
It really wasn't.
Tulare was a shit sandwich for a track surface, though.
Yeah, it had what they call a lot of character in that track surface. It was cowboy up for sure. Tulare, when it runs how it normally runs, is up by the wall. You're literally putting the right rear touching the wall. Phil and I went up for a World Outlaw show a few years ago, and they were literally touching that wall with the right rear, and it was a hell of a show to watch.
I mean, I went to the Trophy Cup there, and that was a bitchin' track. It's just when it's not falling apart, the track is fast.
Yeah, but I mean, in their defense, that California's been getting a lot of rain, and Northern California in particular. But I will give some credit where credit's due. The Reutzel was in a car at Tulare, with a broken nose and stitches. So, props to him for that. After I bust his ass for not having a rock screen. I tell you what, if I was getting in a race car with a broken nose, you for sure would have a rock screen in front of me.
Hell yeah.
But it was some pretty good racing, other than the guy taking off and just it wasn't even close. But there was some good racing for second on back. Brad Sweet led that race for a while before Larson took over. I little inside of baseball. Caitlin said that when they're racing each other, she roots for her brother.
Well, insight
can
on
see
that
that.
deal is
Don't blame her.
when I went to the Trophy Cup at Tulare with Tom Eaton Jr. and Bob Belcher and those guys. Kyle Larson's parents were sitting behind us, and they were the ones that told us that he was going Cup racing for Ganassi when he first started Cup. But him and Rico were lights out around that place, with Rico obviously winning that. The first time I ever saw a guy climb up in the top wing of a car and barely see his head stick out.
Then from there, they went to Kevin Harvick's latest purchase, Kern Raceway, and some good racing there. They were swapping sliders. The impressive thing was Casey Kane ran second in that race, and it looks to me like Casey's kind of getting his mojo back a little bit. He was getting her done.
Fun fact: no crew chief there right now.
Right, but that he had a crew chief for Kern is only he didn't have a crew chief for Paris.
I thought the crew chief left before Vegas.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he's doing his own crew chief, and
Yeah, because he ran.
Yeah,
He had a good run
I
at
see.
Vegas too. He made the dash in Vegas and at Kern, and
Well, newsflash: Casey Kane knows a thing or two about sprint cars.
yes, he does.
And I'm sure that, no crew chief, but he does own the team, so the other guy's crew chiefs might be willing to help him out.
I would hope so.
Also, credit where credit's due. Tanner Holmes ran fourth in the 21 Tarleton car. He's kind of getting it done in that car. It had not been for some bad luck in a couple situations and some amazing run of flat tires. He would be second in points right now, heading out to Casa Grande. And then the next race they had was this past Saturday night at Paris. Some good racing there, but probably from about lap 5 at Paris, that track went lockdown. It rubbered up. I've never seen Paris rubber up that quick. We've run there a bunch, and it was hard on tires. Who was it? I think Neilden said there was five. Oh no, Spain said 5 flat tires on the white flag lap.
Yep.
But shout out to my buddy Kaleb Montgomery. He finished 5th in that race. Started 5th, finished 5th. Good strong run, and he's catching some national attention. I was watching. There's a YouTube channel I like to watch. It's the Rodman Rundown. And he was talking about both Tanner Holmes and Kaleb Montgomery and the run that they have had. He's basically saying that if Tanner could stick that Tarleton ride out for the rest of the season, he might make some serious noise. But Tanner's not due. He's due to come out of that car after Casa Grande. Tarleton's not going to run the full schedule. But what Caleb's done so far this year was he started off with a NARC race at Stockton, started 15th, finished 4th. High limit at Vegas, first time ever on a half-mile track. First time racing with high limit. He started 14th, finished 13th. Tulare, which is a track he's pretty darn familiar with, he started the feature 20th, ran 11th. At Kern, he started 16th in the high limit race, ran 11th. And I just said at Paris, he started 5th, finished 5th, and he's sixth in national points right now for high limit racing. And he made a decision that he wanted to try to race Casa Grande and Vado. He reached out on Facebook for some sponsorship help. I know he picked up at least one sponsor because I helped put it together, and I'm going to leave it up to Kaleb to announce that. But it's he has announced that he is going to run Casa Grande and Vado, and if he does well, if he's still sitting, top 6 or 7, even top 5 in points, I don't think there's a reason why he wouldn't try to run the whole high limit season.
As long as you're up there, go for it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a one-man band. Like, you talk about Casey Kane without a crew chief. Well, Kaleb is without a crew chief, without a crew. I mean, Max Adams helps him out every now and then, and Max knows a thing or two. And then his girlfriend Stevie Rogers helps him out. And, newsflash, she's pretty good at driving a sprint car too. But mostly it's him. It's a family-owned team. They run it out of the shop there in Templeton, on their farm, and it's his family's funding that deal, and he's hustling and getting it done. He's got a pretty entertaining YouTube channel to watch, so if you get a chance, watch that.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he does awesome these next 2 races, and any press you can get helps pick up more sponsors, and that just keeps you moving down the road to the next race.
Yeah, he dances to the beat of his own drum for sure. I don't know if you got a chance to talk to him in Vegas, John, but he's a slightly off level.
Yeah, no, like I said, he was too busy that one time, and then I never caught up with anybody after the races. But next time I go, I'm going to spend way more time in the pits finding people and talking.
I'll tell you a story. He was running his own car in a 410 wing show, and they were running 360 non-wing at the same show, and he was running somebody else's car, and he got done running the 360 car, and wasn't long after that he had to jump into his 410, and he got in an argument with the crew chief, told me he didn't know how to set up the car, and the shocks were all wrong, and the guy you don't know shit about sprint cars. So he goes and runs the 410 race, and he comes back, and they're packed up and gone, and his seat is sitting right outside his trailer. He's like, "Oh, I guess I got fired."
Yeah,
Well, shit.
that's a good sign you're fired. No longer need your services, sir.
Yeah. When they go ahead and pull your seat, that's a hint.
Yep.
Yeah.
No further conversation required.
All right. No, none.
Soper, you got some late model action for us.
Yeah, so we had the World of Outlaws and Lucas Oil both in action this weekend, and we'll start with the World of Outlaws. On Friday, Saturday, they ran at Swainsboro both nights. Bobby Pierce led Friday flag to flag, and then on Saturday you had Ryan Gustin taking the win there. On something I thought was kind of neat here was Ethan Dotson went from 23rd to 9th on Friday to get the Hard Charger Award. And then
Damn.
on Saturday, 23rd to 9th is quite a run. And then on Saturday, Dustin Sorensen went 24th to 8th to get the Hard Charger Award. So he did it 2 spots
Dang.
better. Yeah.
Right.
Did you happen
Yeah.
to watch any of the action from Swainsboro? They had one good pile up there I seen on a video.
Friday, I think it was Friday night. I don't have the video pulled up, but I think I can find it here for you. Friday, let me see. Tristan Chamberlain made contact with Jimmy Owens before clipping an infield tire and flipping while a dozen more cars spun and made contact. That was on Friday night
Yeah, that's the one I seen.
on lap 2.
There's like 12
Yeah.
cars in that deal.
Yep. So, Bobby Pierce still doing Bobby Pierce things there. And then Friday, they went to Lucas Oil on Friday went to Atomic for the Buckeye Springs 50, and Ricky Thornton was the winner there, $15,000. Jonathan Davenport, he was I don't remember where he finished. They went into the weekend. Jonathan Davenport was leading. Ricky Thornton and Ashton Winger, I believe, were trailing him second and third. And then was it Ashton Winger? No, Devin Moran. I apologize. Devin Moran, microwave. Devin Moran. Devin Moran wins on Saturday. So coming out of this weekend, Ricky Thornton and Devin Moran are Ricky Thornton and Devin Moran are tied for the points lead, and then now Jonathan Davenport is like 50 points back. So that Lucas Oil thing could be shaping up to be quite a good deal this year for points.
The
Oh
cool
my
thing I
God.
seen about
IMCA.
the World of Outlaws, Ryan Gustin and Todd Cooney Motorsports is going to go back to their weekly sponsorship and get the door of the car. So that's pretty cool thing that I think that they do. I mean, obviously Ryan Gustin coming out of Marshalltown, and then coming up through the USMTS and then into late models and up into driving for Todd Cooney here at World of Outlaws. But to get a primetime spot on the door, I mean, a weekly sponsorship might not cost you what it costs you normally to get a door of a World of Outlaws late model.
Yeah, no, definitely doing that weekly sponsorship. And he's got like some big races on there. It wouldn't just be like any kind of random Saturday night. I mean, it could be if that's what you wanted, but he also has some big time races on there. And like Brandon said, I mean, the guy's won a couple races this year. He's running strong. So, I mean, it's not like you're going to be, if you choose to sponsor this fella, you're not going to be sitting on the side of a car running 23rd place in a 25 car feature.
Oh,
Like you can see your car up there running top 5.
out of
against
8
some of
World
these
of
boys.
Outlaws races, he's got 2 wins so far this season on 8 races or something like
Yeah.
that for World of Outlaws. I mean,
Yep.
and he's top 5 in points. I know him and Nick Hoffman, I think, were tied for second with Bobby Pierce leading the points right now. I think last time I looked.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah. I mean, he's running really strong this year for sure. I can't get the daggum microwave out of my head now. I hate you guys.
IMCA.
IMCA.
On to other news.
So,
So there was a big modified race this weekend out at the Salina High Banks. There was $100,000 to win modified race XR Super Series 60 lap feature. This kind of ties in, Raz, with your Paris Auto hard on right rear conversation you were having. 60 lap feature, probably a dozen cars out of a 26 car feature field, I believe, had right rear flats go down. Cade Dillard took the lead around lap 20-ish. No, I guess it was probably around 30 because they ran 22 laps clean, and then from 22 forward, man, I mean, like the 60 lap race took an hour and 15 minutes to run the whole damn thing. So after the first 22 laps, it was like 5 laps caution. Cade Dillard took the lead on that thing and was about to run away with it until the cautions finally caught up and bit him in the ass, and he blew a right rear tire with 2 laps to go in that thing. And then it took him probably 25 minutes to finish the last 2 laps.
You could push it around that fast.
Yeah, you could have. But I mean, that's what happens, I would say, when you put that kind of money up there, $100,000, and it was the basically USRA and USMTS cars were paired together for that deal, which was super cool to see. Those cars were running strong with each other, and I thought it was a good race, pretty good race.
I mean, the winner of that deal, Jim Chisholm, he's not too shabby there running around the modifieds. But either way it goes, I mean, I think only 12 cars finished that race, like you said. And Cade Dillard was the last car to finish, and he's the one that blew the rear tire there. So everybody else was a DNF on that deal.
Yeah, Chisholm's a
Well,
local boy, Oklahoma boy.
He's out of
speaking
Iowa,
of World
right?
Outlaw, I guess.
Iowa
Speaking of
now.
World
Where's
Outlaw,
it?
I guess we got.
Fuck.
So we had dead airspace, and now we have talking.
So what we
over
had was
top
we
of
had
each
dead
other.
airspace, and so now we have Raz, go.
We're just trying to have a damn conversation, and we're all fucking all over the place here.
Maybe we should go back to kindergarten and raise our hands.
So, speaking of World of Outlaws, I guess we could talk a little bit about World Outlaw Sprint Cars. Haven't talked about it much because it's kind of the David Gravel show. It's here's your winners list so far: Carson Macedo, Christopher Bell, Kyle Larson, David Gravel, Bill Bullock, David Gravel, Gio Selzy, Michael Kofoid, David Gravel. He's just stinking to show up over there. Kind of a weird trivia thing is Kyle Larson was leading the World Outlaw points until he backed away from that series to go run his NASCAR commitments. Then he was leading the high limit points until he backed away from that to go run his NASCAR commitments. You know, I think this guy could probably do pretty good if he just stuck to dirt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not doing too shabby in the old NASCAR area either, winning 2 out of 3, and he should have won 3 out of 3.
He stunk to show up at Homestead for sure. It was never in doubt who was going to win that Cup race, as far as I was concerned. The only guy that had a chance was Blaney, and his motor went poof.
Well, what's impressive was that damn truck race. Now that was pretty impressive on his behalf.
Oh, hey, there was nobody even in that race. It was all Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
Corey Heim ran there for a while, but like I said, I don't want to get too down into asphalt racing. We're a dirt show. We do have some big announcements. We've been teasing these for a while. We are officially launching our Patreon. We're going to post the link in the description of this video. But John, why don't you tell the folks what they get for help and support Six Idiots?
You get our everlasting love and devotion. No, not that means anything, but
no, that's true.
Raz will come cook for you.
You get that. So we have a few different levels. Obviously, you can sign up for free just because you like us and you love watching our idiot asses up here talking over each other. We have the cheaper level. I don't have them up right now. I was not prepared for this, but I should have been. But again, we're clearly not experts. So our lower level, you just want to help us out. We're looking to put it back in here, get better lighting, better mics for everybody. I don't know, maybe a better internet setup for Neil in here so he can get on from his van down by the river. Once you start getting past that, we got stickers that Phil's making for us. Up past that, we got I'm going to announce these two since we're doing Patreon. We got our t-shirts we got coming out now. Now, let's see. A couple of different styles. We got our black here, our Dirty Sliders logo on the front, and don't let a slider bust your ass on the back. Got those. It also comes in a heather gray color. There's this logo on the front, black writing on the back, saying don't let a slider bust your ass. So yeah, and we're looking at doing some maybe live check-ins with myself, Thomas, Brandon, whoever's out at the racetrack for our upper echelon providers. So yeah, we're looking into doing a lot of fun stuff this season and getting out there and getting some content for you guys.
Yeah, we might. We're looking into doing some live shows, in which case the Patreon supporters will be able to join us in the chat and ask questions and give comments, tell jokes, maybe even hear some of the inside jokes that we've been teasing on here. You have to have a pretty strong stomach to hear my jokes, though. But we'll post a link for that, and we'll post a link for the Venmo for the shirts. Shirts are going to be $30 shipped, discount for multiples. I know that seems like a lot for a shirt, but it's the shipping. The shipping is killing us.
Almost $11 now.
Yeah, so that's we're happy to announce that. Hopefully, you guys will be digging that, and you'll see some things. I'm gonna look into something I've never done before, but making up a Discord server where we can have the Patreon people on there, and we can have conversations throughout the week on there. Just some stuff where you get a little extra access to us idiots.
Yeah. Take some of the heat off our wives.
And let us know what you think of this recording setup versus the old style, because, like I said, we're trying out a different software to see if it works a little bit better. And we might not be done. We might be trying something else beyond this. I don't know. This makes my editing job a lot easier, which I'm all in favor of. But it does have some drawbacks that we got to work around. We'll see going forward.
Yep.
Yep.
Do.
We'll do that.
Can I go ahead and do my little Facebook thing I sent in the group chat earlier about our a junior dwarf driver?
Yeah, that's something we definitely want to support. I mean, it's near and dear to our hearts. Go ahead and talk it up,
Yep.
Thomas.
All right, guys. So I'm going to talk to you as I'm sharing this here, but one of our rookie junior dwarf drivers last year, we weren't sure if she was going to be able to race this year. Her mom was the girlfriend of the late Rick Chavez. Rick passed on. We weren't really sure. The car she was racing last year was a borrowed car. We weren't really sure how that was all going to work out. But the good news is that Mama went and got her a car. Here it is here. Little Adelaide with her new car. Looking good. Let me see if I can exit these. I don't want people to see all this crazy stuff. There we go. Unfortunately, as you guys do see, little Adelaide has a cast on her wrist. She did break her arm in, I believe, 2 spots. But look at her. That's not going to stop her. She's ready to go. Earlier today, her mama posted on the Fans of Barona Facebook page that she was looking for tools. She needed tools. Mama's willing to put the work in to get this car going, get it right for Adelaide, and make sure that she can get out there on the track and continue to stop like she was last year. She posted on there looking for tools, any kind of anything. There was definitely quite a few folks that I saw post on there. Uh, Keith Cardy posted on there about getting tools, helping her up with setting the car up, scales, that kind of stuff. Uh, Keith Altig posted on there about where she was at. Ryan O'Connor, Jim Harbaugh. It's really nice to see the support that dirt track racing shows its drivers, and especially one that's a junior dwarf driver with a mama who's willing to put the effort in and to give her daughter the best ability that she can to get out there on the track and race, and then to watch, like I said, just the other drivers and parents and whatnot jumping on board with this thing. I am certain, absolutely certain, if you're watching this, that little Adelaide could use a sponsor, use a couple of sponsors. I mean, anybody who's raced knows that this thing isn't cheap. And newsflash, guys, these junior dwarf cars are costing anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 now. Like they're more than a pure stock almost.
Well,
And so any little bit'll help. If you guys want, reach out to me, any of these guys here in the chat. I'd be more than happy to get you guys linked up with Mama and get you guys going on the little Adelaide train. But shout out to her. She was Rookie of the Year last year, and I'm super excited and happy to see that she's going to be back at the track this year.
well, it goes to show you right there that dirt track is a family. Even if people aren't necessarily close to somebody, anybody that reaches out and says, "Hey, I need help," there's a million people jumping in to show support, even if they're not even connected in a certain type of way. Somebody's always around to help you.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I hope.
And I was just gonna say, I remember watching her, from her start last year, and she started out there, and she just kept at it and kept doing her thing, and she's clearly having the time of her life. And yeah, let's just keep it going because this is the future. We're all getting old.
Well, I think she's going to need a place to put all them tools she's going to get. So I think I have some of our old race boxes from the dwarf days, and I'll donate one of them to them.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
I mean, somebody that's taken the initiative to reach out and say, "Hey, we want to do this, but I have nothing." I mean, and for people to show support like that, I mean, Neilton giving a box up would be pretty cool if you have one of them laying around the garage somewhere.
Well, it's one of them from the dwarf days, the Mecco box that we used to tow in and out of the trailer. It's been to Barona 1,000 times. Time to send her back home.
There you go. I support that idea.
So, Thomas, next time you come
awesome.
see me bring the truck, I'll put it in your bed since you live out down that way more than I do.
Yes, sir.
If she wants
Last
it, of
little bit
course.
of racing, we got last little bit of racing I got to talk about is the midgets. POWRi Midgets ran Port City, which is in Tulsa. I don't know why they call it Port City. There ain't a port anywhere near that place.
Marketing.
The track is, yeah. The track is, if there's a port, it's on a river.
Or as a bar.
Yeah, the track was pretty cowboy up, as we've said previously in the show. It had a lot of character, so which is not ideal for midgets. Those cars bounce around pretty good. Some pretty good racing. Team has led a lot of that race, which is surprising. He's kind of, well, to put it politely, he's an elder statesman of midget now. Jacob Denny ended up winning the race, but the impressive thing for me, and I have to say that I'm a kind of a little bit of a Cannon McIntosh hater, but he flipped his car, went to the hot pit, they fixed it, he didn't lose a lap, got back out before they opened the red up or before they went back to green, and drove all the way back up to fourth place.
That's shooting it right there.
Very impressive.
Yeah, that is.
So Timez finished second. Good on him that he's running a unique engine and a unique chassis that's kind of their own deal. And then my buddy Trevor Klein, he of Chili Bowl fame, he finished 10th in that race, running one of Chase McDermott's cars.
I seen other POWRi Midget news also. I sent it in the group chat earlier about them pulling off of a one-track schedule in particular.
Pulling out of I-70, and I don't know what the deal is there. They did in their press release. They didn't really say. It said due to circumstances. Okay, well, what are the circumstances?
It just says due to circumstances surrounding the track and the facility, so I'm not necessarily sure what's going on there. I was trying to do some research, but even on the I-70 page, there's literally the last post on the I-70 Facebook page was 2024, so I'm not necessarily sure what's going on there.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried doing some research myself, so anything we said would be guessing. And you guys are starting up in Barona in 2 weeks?
On the 12th.
3
weeks. Next week, next Saturday, we have the Monster Truck Show at Barona Speedway, so that should be fun.
Yep. Yeah, I'm ready to get back out there.
I think that's about all we got for tonight, unless anybody has anything.
I just want to give a shout out to Joe Cott, the 38 Pure Stock. He let me turn a few hot laps yesterday at Barona. Cart felt really good. And also, shout out to John Tuttle, JT, our crew chief. He jumped in Bridger's car, first time on the dirt. He plans to race this year. He bought Thomas Soper's old Pure Stock, but he got behind the wheel of Bridger's Pure Stock yesterday. Turned a couple laps, and I even got to black flag him on his first excursion, so that was fun.
Does he not have enough
forget
work?
A tire inside the car?
Yeah, so when he first came out on the track, he was trying to get his gloves on, and the fire crew called him out because he didn't have gloves on, so he was going down the front straightaway real slow, putting his gloves on, and finally he got up to speed, and they said, hey, black flag that guy. He's got a spare tire in the back seat hanging out the back window.
Hey,
we were
funny
experimenting with weight.
That's funny since his brother-in-law's on the fire crew.
Right.
And he started out on the fire crew, and then he figured out really quick that when he's on the fire crew and we have a problem with a race car, he can't help us out. So he switched gears over to being at the pits, and now he's going to get in a seat.
Hey, it was open practice. We were experimenting with a rolling weight that goes, so if we go right, it can roll to the left side of the car. If we go left,
Yeah, okay.
You guys caught us. It's fine.
Now, speaking of midgets, have y'all seen this Katech 2.7 GM motor?
That's the one that's the LS. It's got a single LS head. That's the one that Dan Binks was developing. He licensed that to Katech. So was it 2 years ago? Dan Binks had the 3-cylinder and the half a LS. He basically turned that over to them.
Yeah, it's saying 200 pounds, 400 horsepower.
Yeah, and
I mean,
no
that's
water.
nothing to slouch at.
It's no water. It's oil cooled.
I think it said it was water cooled. Now you're gonna make me go back to
this
it.
says electric water pump.
Yeah.
No, it says electric water pump. I've got it up, Nealon. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's a nice picture of it.
Well, that is the motor. That picture is actually at Chili Bowl.
Could be.
No, yeah, trust me, I recognize the background.
Did you lick it?
I thought there may be some of my DNA on there.
Jesus.
Right about there, up there. I see it in the swirl marks.
Yep.
But this thing is pretty awesome. I mean, we all know Toyota has been the class of the field for a minute in the midgets. So I'm glad to see somebody else trying to step up and take a little bit of that power from them.
Dan Binks is kind of the mad scientist. If you remember during the 2000s when the Corvettes were dominating road racing, Dan Binks was in charge of that program.
I mean, I think it's interesting if you just look at the velocity stacks. He's got 2 different heights on an individual runner velocity stack setup.
Well, you got to tune for the intake runner.
There's something there. So
see, his idea of retirement from the Corvette program is to go midget racing.
Hey, when you're a workaholic and you love what you do.
He's a super good guy to talk to. I think I actually made a friendship out of that. He will tell you everything you need to know about that motor. All you have to do is ask, and I'm just not smart enough to ask the right questions.
Yeah, I know that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just stumbled upon that, and I mean, I know there's been rumor mills around it, but it looks like something that's actually coming to fruition that is actually be able to be put in more than a car.
Yeah, and if I remember right, it's pretty reasonably priced comparatively. I mean, Jesus, what they're getting for midget engines now is insane.
Well, Chili Bowl's what, $50,000 for the week? If you don't blow it up?
No. If you get a Toyota, to lease a Toyota for the week is $80,000.
Yeah, see, I was only off by half.
Yeah.
And that doesn't matter if you run the Super or not.
Ouch.
No, it's right. And if you hurt it, you own it.
No, you just get to. No, you don't own it. You just pay the bill to fix it.
No,
you don't get
own
to
the
keep
repairs.
it. Yeah, you don't get to keep it. They still get it back no matter how many pieces it's in. Fuck.
All right, with that, let's call it a night. Thanks, everybody.
Bridger, hit the socials.
Instead of like, comment, and subscribe, how about you share this with a friend? We sure could use a little bit more exposure.
Yeah, heck yeah. Share it around. Share it all over the place. So we got Dirty Sliders on Facebook. We've got at Dirty Sliders on X. We've got Dirty Sliders on Instagram, and our newly announced, we've got Dirty Sliders Podcast. It's patreon.com/Dirty Sliders Podcast. So go there. All of the levels are up. We got from $2 all the way up to the big slider at $15 a month. But you get a lot of stuff with those. So go look at all the pictures of those cool race cars. We just need a picture of one of Phil's RC cars for the $2 a month. We'll put him on the small one.
There you go.
Just put him on the bottom.
All right. Thanks for listening. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks,
All right,
everybody.
hey guys.
Good night,
See you
y'all.
next week.